I'll just start talking and make these other people talk. So.
It's not difficult to do.
And Lee, can you just do a quick sound test for me one more time?
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. A B C D E F G.
H-I-J.
Okay, so we're live.
We're live. Okay.
All right.
Welcome.
We're here.
So those of you who've been watching Hey Santa Fe, the video series, these people have been doing. I've actually been doing it too. My name is Lee Zlotoff, and I am the producer director of this. I've been making my living in Hollywood for a long time, but live in Santa Fe now. You probably best know me, if you know me at all, which is unlikely, as the creator of the original MacGyver TV series. So, and obviously I'm here with Gracie Clark and Carlos Medina, and we're hoping Winona, who couldn't get into Santa Fe today because of unfortunate passing of someone in her family, but we're going to hopefully try and get her on FaceTime somewhere here so we can talk to her too. We're coming to you live from Santa Fe, the Hotel Santa Fe, which is right downtown, and as you can see, it's a really beautiful hotel. Some of the people behind us are just finishing up breakfast, and we'll be here for about an hour until lunchtime. So if you happen to be in the area and want to stop by, we'd love to see you. We've got free coffee and nibbles and stuff like that, so feel free to join us or just watch us on Facebook. So I'm going to start with you, Gracie.
Okay.
Okay. What have you been up to since we actually filmed this at the beginning of May, even though it's being released all over the summer. So what have you been up to since then?
I've been up to a lot, mostly just playing outside. And I went to Santa Rosa last weekend. If you guys haven't been, there's a place called Whibbit. It's like those big blow up on the pool. It's for kids, but it's adult sized. It's like those big blow up things that they have all over the world now. It's in Santa Rosa, and the Blue Hole.
What do you mean by a big blow up thing?
You don't know?
Is
Okay,
this
so
like
it's like
inflatable something?
It's like an inflatable course and like towers you can jump off of into water. And they make you wear life vests, but it's so exhausting that you're happy by the end that you have a life vest on. I recommend it. It is so fun. There's a lot of kids, so try not to help the kids or you'll be stuck doing that the whole time. But it's a great time. I've been doing a lot of that and auditioning and playing outside and swimming.
What other outside stuff have you done?
I do a lot of hiking and camping. I've been doing a lot of that in the Jemez. There's also on Friday nights in the summer, there's a concert series in Los Alamos that I love. So we've been doing that most Friday nights, going up there to check it out. Yeah.
And how about you, Carlos? What have you been up to? You've been busy, haven't you?
It's actually been a slow summer compared to others, but yeah, I probably since we filmed, I'd say performed about 50 times.
No kidding.
Yeah, music,
and that's a
comedy,
slow summer.
That's a slow summer.
Oh, okay. I'd hate to see what a busy summer looked like for you.
It was pretty intense, but yeah, I've been performing a lot, and just want to thank everybody for supporting our show over at the Jean Cocteau. I do a monthly show there for our good friend George, who I'm so grateful for all his help. One of the first people to help me out when I moved to Santa Fe, and so once a month I get to do a comedy music show there, and it's been great turnout, great response. So I'm so grateful for the community for supporting that. And live music, I was downtown at Bandstand a couple of weeks ago, beginning of July. It was a great turnout. Everybody had a beautiful time. It was my group and then a very well-known band from Santa Fe, Nosotros. So everybody had a great time dancing and just enjoying. I mean, summer is here, man. 90 plus degree weather, and I think we have relief next week. Other than that, I've been I bought an old truck, so I've been working on that.
Cool.
And you can tell by my fingernails, they're greasy.
What kind of a truck did you buy?
It's an old F-150, an 86 red Ford. It's funny, yesterday I was cruising around town trying to get my AC fixed, and somebody Snapchats me a picture of my truck and me wearing my hat. So thanks to all the fans out there. I guess people know I own a red Ford now.
And now everybody knows.
Yeah, so that's been
Oh, I
fun.
think we got Winona on FaceTime. So,
All right,
yeah, Why don't you
Winona.
bring that over to me? And Alex, can you? Hey, Winona, how you doing?
Hi.
All right.
Anybody but
You can't see anybody. Oh, I know why. Hold on a second. You're just as happy not to see me. I don't blame you. That's cool. So, Alex, can you get a close up of her?
Yeah, we see it.
We see it. Okay, so Winona, we've been talking to Gracie and Carlos about what they've been doing since we stopped filming Hey Santa Fe. What have you been up to?
I've been up to work with the kids, a lot of family stuff going on, a lot of stuff at home going on. My fiance, like I said, we live on 15 acres, so there's a lot of work to be
Yeah,
done,
I bet.
even on a small piece of land like that. So it's just trying to help where it can with that. But just being kind of pulled in a bunch of different directions, really.
So it's been a busy summer for you, huh?
It has been, yeah. It's nice to have at least, a day of downtime. But, yeah, just, trying to keep busy, too. It's better to stay busy than to be bored and not be productive.
I get it. So I'm curious, have you gotten much of response from your community about the Hey Santa Fe videos?
Actually, I have. It's funny. People come into, so I bartend like 2 days a week, and people will come into the bar, and they'll say, "I know you from somewhere." This actually happened last night. I know, well, where do I recognize you from? I said, "Well, I'm from Taos." She's like, "I know, but it's not that. I've seen you somewhere else." And then my coworker or my manager, he's like, "Oh, well, she's been all over Facebook on these videos," and she's like, "That's it. That's where I see you." So everybody's been like, "Oh, I saw your video from friends, classmates, my old teachers who are even like states away, like on the East Coast, have seen the video." So it's really cool how everybody's like, "Wow, that's really awesome."
So the
Yeah,
response,
it's got a good response.
the response has been good from your community, you think, yeah?
It has, and they've had a real curiosity about Hey Santa Fe and kind of what it was, and I told them, about the project, and they thought it was really awesome, and they figured, and a lot of them thought that we should do this for, I guess, more of New Mexico, and, there's a lot of
We would
people
love
in Santa
to.
Fe.
That'd be awesome.
I know that we're really happy to have it done, for their hometown, and my great grandmother was really excited. She's not from Santa Fe, but she lives there. She's lived there for like the last, 50 years, and so she was really excited about it. She was proud and so happy to see her Santa Fe on all over the internet.
That's great.
Yeah, she's cute.
And what are your plans? So we've got like maybe a little more than a month for the summer. You got any special plans for the rest of the summer now, or is it just trying to get done all the stuff you got to get done?
Honestly, for the rest of the summer, I think we're gonna just kind of crack the whip, get what we done need is work, and take a couple days or a week to detox, go horseback riding, do some camping,
Sounds
fishing.
like fun.
We're gonna try and take a trip out to California to go visit my fiance's brother for a little bit, and have some actual fun time that's more than just a few hours or more than just a day. So just
Cool.
work, and then play. Yep.
I got it.
Yeah, of course, hang out with the kids. They're only young ones.
I got it. Well, when you have kids,
Yeah.
you're never not busy. So
Yeah, no, even when they're not around, it's like you're
I
doing
can't
something
imagine.
for them or regarding them. It's kind of funny. They're always there. They're good.
They're just there.
great.
Always
They're
there.
super. Well, is there anything you want to say to everybody who's been watching Hey Santa Fe now that you have their attention?
Thank you guys for liking and sharing and talking about it. I've heard people talk about the videos, and everybody's got all the excitement about the different Santa Fe events and festivals, and I think it's really kind of opened eyes for people who are just, even if they've lived in New Mexico for a number of years, really help them to be like, oh, there's actually really awesome things out there. So, just thank you everyone for spreading the word about, how great it is to be in Santa Fe and be a part of that community, even if you don't live in it, just to have your connections in there. It's really awesome. And I miss Gracie and Carlos and everybody that I worked with. Jackie,
We miss you
you guys
too.
were awesome. Lee, you were great.
No,
Yeah,
Jackie's not here.
I wish I was there with you guys, but
Yeah, well, we're sorry you couldn't be here with us, but listen, I just want to thank you and appreciate all the hard work you did in helping us make this, and I'll talk more about that later with these guys. But thanks for at least showing up, over over this technical device here. I'm sorry you weren't
I
able
wish
to
I
join
could
us.
see you guys. I'm just looking at a black screen, but also too, it's funny.
Basically the same
A lot of my fiance, his military buddies have been like, I don't know, they're all fascinated by the videos, and they're like, oh my god, that New Mexico is actually a cool place to be, not just for
It is a cool place to be.
hunting and outdoors, but
It's
for
enchanting.
other things. So,
Some may say.
That's great. Well, thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. Good luck to you, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay?
all right, thanks everyone. You guys have an awesome day, and enjoy the rest of the weekend, or the rest of the weekend. It's Saturday. Oh my gosh,
Yeah, it's just Saturday.
it's just Saturday.
All right. Take care,
All right,
Winona.
guys. Much love to you. Thank you. Miss you all.
Bye.
Bye.
Mwah.
Bye.
Thanks.
That was fun.
That was fun. So Winona's up in Taos, where she lives, and as I said, there was an unexpected death in the family, so she wasn't able to join us, but she was kind enough to join us that way. So, so talk to me a little, Carlos, about what kind of response you've been getting from
It's
Hey
been
Santa Fe.
great. Yeah, I mean, tons of people have been sharing the videos, and like Winona said, a lot of people have been asking me, when are you gonna do a Hey La Plaga, or Hey Mosquero, or Hey Antonchico? So I came up with an idea for a music festival in La Plaga, and maybe we could do something like that later on.
Right.
I
Where is-
also thought of maybe Hey New Mexico, or Hey the World.
Hey, world!
We're in Australia today.
I'm totally okay with that idea.
I visited with our good friend Mayor Weber the other day, and he was really excited about all this, this project, and so it's great to see that our local leaders support it, and again, thanks to the city of Santa Fe for helping make this possible, and of course all the fans. I appreciate all the shares, and I get the most interesting comments like, this vato's all norte, because of course I have a great fan base, and they recognize the voice, and they recognize the character, and
The hats.
Yeah, the hats. It's just kind of cool to be able to incorporate that into this type of project, and see people respond to it in a positive way. Pretty much everywhere I play or do any shows, people will bring it up. Hey, I saw that episode the other day. It was great, and it's so cool what you guys are doing for Santa Fe. So, the appeal is there, and it's really it's hard to miss when you live in Santa Fe. It's a beautiful place. New Mexico's beautiful. Our culture, traditions, our language, everything is so unique, and I'm very happy to have been part of this project, and I hope we can do it again.
Well, I hope we can too. I'm curious, because I know Winona is Native American, and you're Spanish, you're Anglo.
I'm a
right?
trifecta.
Right, because you're Native. You have Native American
all a
blood
little
in you
muddy,
too.
it's
Right. But it's rare that we have all three cultures represented in one, in one piece like this. Because
Sure.
usually, each community sort of does its own things. And I'm curious if you've gotten any feedback, any of you, about appreciating the fact that it's we're being inclusive as opposed to, you know, Native Americans talk about Native Americans, Spanish talk about Spanish, Anglos talk about Anglos. Have you gotten any feedback along those lines, do you think?
I haven't. Have you?
I have. I mean, it's been great. You know, like that's really cool that you people get it. You know, people get that. And I mean, being from New Mexico, it's almost something that's just natural. I think. You know, it's just something you grew up with. I've never really had any issues with that, you know, as far
Right.
as like being inclusive. I mean, anywhere I play, there's every culture is probably
Right.
represented in the audience, and I appreciate the fact that people appreciate my music, my comedy, to that point where probably every demographic is represented, and so it's cool that this project is the same. You know, it not only because it doesn't matter what you put out there, just a variety of cultures and language, and people are going to see it, and that's what's cool about New Mexico, I think.
Yeah.
You know, I completely agree. One of the things that I think is so incredible about New Mexico, and I've only lived here full time about 5 years, but you know, there are very few places in this country, maybe in the world, but certainly in this country, where you have at least 3 very distinct cultures who
Embrace each other.
who have more or less found a way to get along. Listen, the Native American cultures have literally been here for millennia. Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, this place has been occupied longer than almost any place in the United States.
Taos Pueblo, I think
Yeah,
the most.
I mean, it's
the longest continuously.
It's the oldest continuous town, city habitation in the United States. And then, you know, about 500 years ago, give or take, the Spanish came. Okay, and so you have that. Now there are wounds, and there are hurt feelings, and there are, you know, old grudges. But as time goes by, more and more of those seems to be kind of working themselves out. People seems to be appreciating that, and these 3 cultures have more or less found a way to get along in this state. And frankly, I think that's something the rest of this country could really use right now, because clearly we seem to be a very divided nation, if not a divided world. And I think there are people who are trying to keep us divided because it serves their purposes. But the fact is, New Mexico, I think, is like a great model where we can go, you know, nothing's perfect. It's not paradise, although it's as close to paradise as I think you're going to get. But we found a way to more or less get along, and I think that's something. I'm glad that this series is part of sort of trying to send that message, you know, and I'm really glad you guys and Winona agreed to participate to do this. So, you know, I think that's an important part of it, and one of the things that I love about New Mexico is because you get to experience all these different cultures that are very different from your own, and yet, you know, it's, for want of a better way, it's a safe place to do that. You know?
Well, and we all have something to learn from each other, right? I feel like I'm constantly learning things about myself through learning about different cultures that I didn't maybe before understand.
Like what? Give me an example. Hang on a second. There's a motorcycle.
Like that
That's
was,
one of the.
Like that?
That's,
I know that was a motorcycle.
That's one of the things about doing live events is, you know, stuff happens. So.
Well, I think the first thing that comes to mind is like the adobe and understanding how they built their homes with the earth and didn't like, I feel like sometimes white people just try to build on top of things and make it work. But like there's all these cultures who live with the earth and live in sync with the environment that they're in. And I think I've learned a lot from that.
well, we filmed in one of those places.
Yeah.
Right. So you'll see in some of the upcoming episodes, I don't remember exactly which episode aired when, but we go to, for instance, a place called Bandelier,
Yeah.
which is maybe about 45 minutes or an hour north of Santa Fe. And there are cliff dwellings. And there you can see by the extent of the cliff dwellings that these were really whole cities. I mean, it wasn't just a few people, hanging off the side of a cliff. These cliff dwellings were communities, and they would build their homes, either dig them out of the cliffs, the sandstone, and then make adobe to build sort of structures up against the cliffs. And down below in the valleys, they would farm. So they could farm in the valleys and produce food, and then they would sort of go up in the cliffs, I guess, because they were probably safer
Yeah,
in terms
sure.
of potential enemies and that. And so there are some amazing cliff dwellings all over New Mexico. There's Puye, there's Bandelier, there's Tonkawi. I mean, you can go visit these cliff dwellings, and it's really,
The
as you
original-
say, you really understand what it means for people to know how to live with the land.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think the survival skills that
It's
the
amazing.
Native Americans developed in the millennia of living here, because this has always been a place where water is a precious resource. I think those skills are going to become more and more valuable as time
As
goes
time
on.
starts crashing out here.
Because let's face it, the weather is changing, and New Mexico doesn't escape it any more than anybody else in the world escapes it. And we're going to need those kinds of survival skills in terms of, yes, we'll use technology, but the technology will ultimately be based on those original skills, which is, where's the water coming from? How do you best preserve the water? How do you use as little water as possible for what it is you want? All that kind of stuff.
Don't
So,
take more than you need.
Don't take more.
Something we can learn from.
Without clean water and clean air, nothing matters.
Well, and if we can create a community among all of the people who live here, we can survive much better
Absolutely.
as a
I was
culture, as a
looking
people.
at those cliff dwellings, those are the original skyscrapers.
Totally.
And not only was
The
it
penthouses.
Yeah, not only was it survival. I mean, these cultures were able to. I mean, they farmed. They had medicine, ways of communicating. It's an intricate, very well developed society, and to think that existed thousands of years ago is amazing.
I know we think we've come so far, but
Yeah.
we've just kind of gone in different directions.
Well, and as we have, as a species, as humans have populated and spread all around the earth, we're finding ourselves more and more looking back to those older cultures for direction, because we're now, and will be for probably the next 100 years, in an adapting phase. It's like,
Right.
things around us are changing. We have to adapt. We can't just make the world,
Do what we
bend
want.
itself to our will anymore, because it's just not going to do that anymore. It's, it's pushing back, and we have to learn to adapt. And, cities along the coast are going, okay, so what happens when the sea level gets higher? How are we going to deal with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can build walls in some places, but not everywhere.
Yeah.
In some places, they're going to have to say, you know what, we just can't have people build houses here anymore. We're going to have to make this marshland, because the water's going to start coming up, and we have to find a way to sort of reduce the effect of those storms.
That's
And just
already
putting a wall
happening.
up there isn't always the
Yeah.
answer. So
There's like already those flood zones that you have to have, it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Building a wall is
yeah.
Let's just
hardly
nix all
ever-
these
Yeah,
plants for
building-
walls.
Building
It's
a
hardly
wall is
ever the
hardly ever the
answer.
real
We're not
solution.
really doing anything.
Yeah, I get it.
what an interesting tangent we've gone on from filming Hey Santa Fe to
Yeah.
talking about climate change and
So-
immigration and
But let's get back to Hey Santa Fe. So tell everybody a little bit what the experience was like for you when we filmed this thing, because it was kind of crazy. I can tell you that. I mean, I have my stories, and I'll share some of them. But you tell some of your stories.
Sure. So it was actually a pretty quick filming. We were all together for 6 days, and we did this whole thing for you. And so we'd always carry our outfits with us. It was pretty fun. But we basically just got to go explore all these amazing places around Santa Fe and just tell you about them in hopes that you'll come see them because they're amazing. I had a great time. I think there was one night where I got a little tired. But overall, I had a blast because I mean we didn't really get a script. It was just like, okay, we're going to talk about this event coming up. You guys know this event. Just tell the audience. And so it was very freehand. I love that. That's really fun for me. We had a great time, and we all bonded so much over those 6 days. I mean, that's how film is, right? Like you're together for so many hours. But yeah, we've really created our own little community.
We
It's
did.
very exciting to share.
That's true. How about you, Carlos?
Yeah, same thing. It was a fun. It was an adventure. We were all over at least the northern part of the state, which is, in my opinion, the prettiest part of the state.
Yeah.
Puro norte, you know. But working with Gracie and Winona and then Jackie. I wish Jackie could
I
have been here
know.
today.
Our makeup artist, Jackie.
She tried her hardest to make me look pretty. Jackie, it's not your fault. Probably the one memory that stands out the most for me was the weakest yeehaw.
I love how you
Remember
put that
that?
blooper in.
Yeah.
And you're like laughing at yourself. That was really
I
funny.
said to Carlos, so after you say this thing, try saying yeehaw, and so he said the line. You probably have seen it because I think it's already been up.
Yeah,
And he
it's
goes yeehaw, and I went, "Are you kidding me?" I was like, "Really?"
was
It's
so
like,
quiet.
It's like I can do better than that, and I'm not from here, you know. So we did have a good time, and it was an unusual project for me. So I'm traditionally, writer, producer, director in film and television in Hollywood, and everything, the script, the schedule, the budget, everything is nailed down before, you do anything. And this was much more like guerrilla, filmmaking. I mean, there was no script really. We just knew we were going to go to some places, and we were going to talk about these events. And we were just going to kind of see what happened. And the whole crew is basically in two vehicles. So I have this old Chevy Suburban, and
It's like going on family vacation.
it was right. It was a road trip, you know. And we just piled everybody into the Suburban, and then there was a camera car with the sound guy and Alex and Jonathan, who you can't see because they're behind the camera. But at some point we'll make them come out here so you can see their faces. He's saying
shaking
no.
their
He's
heads.
shaking their heads like no way. Okay, then I just won't pay you for today.
That's it. Turn it off.
And so we would pile into these two vehicles, and we would just drive all over, and we'd get somewhere, and everybody would get out and look at me and say, "Well, what are we doing?" And for the first time in my entire professional experience, I kind of had to make it up as we went along, and I'd say, "Okay, well, Carlos, why don't you stand over there and say something like this?" And then as soon as we were done with that, I'd say, "Okay, Gracie, now you come over here and talk to him, and then Winona, we'll go over here and do this." And because we shot for all 3 months, in 6 days, they had to have all their different wardrobes with them for each month. And so sometimes we would say, "Okay, now change into this wardrobe." So
Get in the car.
Get in the car, right. So the car was both the dressing room and transportation, and we had all our food in the back of the car. It was our cafeteria.
Crafty.
Yes, so this was a fascinating project, I think, for all of us, because I'd never really quite done anything like that before, and it was a lot of fun. These guys, all of them, they were great. They just rolled with the punches, because sometimes, okay, you got to get your hair done and your makeup done, and then you got to climb up the side of this cliff so we can shoot you there.
In your heels.
In your
it was
heels,
fun
right.
though. I was fine with it.
That was the hardest part for me, is walking in my heels.
Yeah, right. I got that. So we're just about. So now we're going to have a special interlude with our chief marketing person, whose name is Shengyi Li. She's originally from China, but she too now lives here in Santa Fe, because this is one of those crossroads of the world places. And it turns out that in addition to being our marketing person, she is also a world-class zither player. Is that what it's called, the zither? Right, okay. And so for the next, I'd say, for the next few minutes, she's going to do a little performance for you on her zither, and we'll be back after that. Are you ready to go? Okay, ladies and gentlemen,
Yay!
Xiongyi Li.
Whoop whoop. I don't know.
Do we need to move off, or do we stay where we are? Oh,
Okay.
great. Okay.
I'm really only staying until cake.
Till cake? Okay.
She's just here for the cake.
She just-
I'm only here for the cake.
okay.
But thank you guys for cleaning up with me. I'm gonna give you my watch.
Got it.
Hold on to it.
Okay. Should I answer the calls if they come in? No. Okay.
Just ignore everybody.
Okay.
And I actually had the good fortune of playing at Miawo for just a couple of days ago. Carlos was there too. I didn't get to see your play, but this is this. Okay.
You probably couldn't tell she had like little picks on her hand. They were moving so fast. That was amazing.
That was awesome.
She doesn't want to be in front of the camera.
Does-
She ran away.
Yeah, she doesn't like to be in front of the camera. Does that piece have a name?
It's called War Against Typhoon. It's trying to go through the emotion of the typhoon coming in, and then you hear all the stress, and then people fighting and trying to build up walls. Not that kind of walls. Build up walls to keep the water out. And in the end, it was a hoping for a triumph. It's trying to shoot for triumph, but you never know.
You never know.
Beautiful.
That was
Great,
beautiful.
thank you.
you.
So speaking of typhoons, believe it or not, even though most people think of New Mexico as being the desert, Santa Fe is roughly about 7,500 feet in altitude. We're actually tucked into the base of the mountains of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains. And in July, we have what we call monsoon season. And the reason we call it monsoon season is because it is not uncommon that you'll have hot sunny day like this, and come anywhere between 2 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, thunderstorms will just sweep in, and they will dump, not uncommon for them to dump hail as well
Yeah.
as rain. We had a no pun intended, a hell of a hailstorm last week, and it just dropped about, I'd say, 2 or 3 inches of hail on the town, and then turned into rain. And we love the rain when it comes, and the beauty of it is, depending upon where you park yourself, you can watch those thunderstorms coming for hours.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And then get yourself under an umbrella or under a portal or something, and it'll pour for 45 minutes or an hour. And then you turn your chair around and you can watch that thunderstorm go away for another 2 or 3 hours. Because, the sky is so open here
It's so beautiful.
that you can see those storms from hundreds of miles away, making their way towards you and then making their way away from you. So what are some of your favorite things in the summer here, Carlos?
Sooner or later. That's what we say. Sooner or later, the rains will come. The weather, just where we're located is so beautiful. I mean, you have Española Valley, you have Mora Valley, Pecos Valley, beautiful areas, great for fishing, hiking, just enjoying nature. We get all 4 seasons sometimes in one day, but
That's fun.
that's pretty cool. That makes it for an interesting life.
Yeah.
The outdoors is awesome in New Mexico, and the culture. Our green chili, which is better than Colorado's, let me just come out
Hate
and
to
say
admit
that.
it, but it's
So,
true.
Well, if
Michelle
you're
is
from
right.
Colorado, I would say,
Talk more about that.
okay.
So we got Colorado, we got New Mexico.
Yeah. I never thought Colorado chili was superior to New Mexico chili. Just so you guys know, that
it's
was not
good,
me.
but it's not
Okay.
Hatch or
It's not
Chimayo.
spicy. And when I come down here, it's a little too spicy for me. Up there, we're like, it's so spicy because it has some flavor, and we feel proud of ourselves for being able to take that flavor.
Well,
and then
you
we
can
come
be-
down here, and we're defeated.
You
So
can be proud, just don't say it's better than New Mexico.
don't lie about it, guys. Let's not lie about it, okay?
So Gracie, if you don't remember from the first episode, I think it was, Gracie's originally from Durango, Colorado.
I
and
thought you were from Durango, Mexico.
Oh, really?
I'm just kidding.
and moved down here because she's an actress, and the entertainment business here is literally exploding. So I don't, again, it may be in one of the upcoming episodes, but Gracie talks about that. For those of you who don't know, New Mexico has been a sort of location for huge film and television shows literally for generations, but now it's kind of exploding, which is great for people like Carlos and Gracie. I guess it's great for me too. Netflix bought a studio in Albuquerque and is planning on spending $100 million a year here, at least for the next 10 years. So that's $1 billion there. And they just announced a few weeks ago that NBC Universal has also now bought a studio in Albuquerque, and they plan on spending something like $500 million over the next 10 years. And rumor has it there's another big entertainment company that's
really?
that's going to buy another studio here.
didn't know that one.
So yeah, it's a secret.
It's a secret.
So I can't tell you who it is or where the studio is.
I can.
You
No, I'm just
can,
kidding.
So the entertainment business is really exploding here in New Mexico, certainly in Albuquerque, certainly in Santa Fe. Carlos works a lot with Meow Wolf, which if you haven't heard it, you should go to their website.
Definitely go to Meow Wolf.
Because they built this amazing installation here in Santa Fe, and it's just blown up, and now they're doing these other kind of art installations in Las Vegas, in Denver, in Washington D.C., and in Phoenix, Arizona, I think.
Wow.
And so, believe it or not, this started as a group of art collective friends here in Santa Fe, and now they have 500 employees. So both they've hired a lot of people here, and a lot of people have moved here to work for Meow Wolf. And the same is going to happen, I believe, with both Netflix and this Comcast NBC Universal deal. So, you know, if you happen to be interested or are in the entertainment industry, you might seriously want to consider coming here, because certainly LA has been a place to go, and New York has been a place to go, but those are very, very competitive environments because everybody's there for the same reason. And this is just really starting to take off here. So, and it wasn't the main reason that I moved to New Mexico. I just kind of feel like Hollywood just followed me here. So,
Right
That's
on,
it.
Lee.
That's gotta be it.
but
They're like, wait, where'd Lee go?
yeah. So talk a little bit about what are some of your favorite things in the summer.
My favorite things in the summer. I'm a water baby. I love to play in the water, as we've talked about. There's a lake called Cochiti that is not too far from Santa Fe. I recently got a paddleboard, so I've been paddleboarding a lot this summer. Thank you, Wesley, for that one. And what else have I done? We do a lot of camping and hiking. And one of the things I really love about this area in general is I'm very small town. I love being in a small town, but my work kind of forces me to be in a bigger place because it's the industry. But here, you don't feel, even in Albuquerque, like a lot of the buildings are very small. Like we don't have high risers that block the view. And in Santa Fe, all of the buildings really kind of camouflage into the the earth. Like
yeah.
It looks like it belongs here. And so you feel very connected to the earth here, and I'm in love with that, really.
Yeah,
Play
Mexico's
outside.
Beautiful place to play outside, and the weather's great.
The weather's
Like
amazing.
I said, 4 seasons, sometimes in one day, but we're cool with that. I mean, you can go from a white sand desert out in Alamogordo to just the greenest, luscious. Have you seen the river? Like
The Rio Grande?
Yeah, the Rio Grande.
It's
It's
really
flowing
flowing
at
this
its
year.
highest in 14 years, I think.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
It's so crazy. It's
so
beautiful.
something you may not know about New Mexico. Most people think the Rio Grande runs only between the border between the United States and Mexico. But the fact is, the Rio Grande actually runs north-south through all of New Mexico. So the Rio Grande is a big river for this state because that's the source of a lot of our agricultural.
It's our Nile.
Yeah, it's our Nile. That's exactly right. And most people don't know that river runs all the way through New Mexico, top to bottom, and really is, the source of a lot of the growth and life that's here. So we had a great winter this past winter, which means there was a lot of snow on the mountains because, again, believe it or not, there's a ski basin
There's
right
multiple ski places around
right
here.
outside of Santa Fe.
I think Taos is still open.
Are they really?
No, that's how much
That would
snow
be
we
awesome.
got.
But we got a lot of snow this year, which means obviously it's melting and the rivers are running really
Yeah.
well.
Well, and that means
So-
it's great for rafting and kayaking, any kind of water sport you want to do.
That means
amazing.
it's great
It's super
for
fun.
crops because
And fishing, if you do
another
that.
thing we have here is a great acequia system, and shout out to all the people who have, made sure that part of our culture stays alive. And the viejitos have always said, "El agua es vida," water is life, and what an amazing thing it is. I don't know other places in the world that have such an intricate acequia system as we do in New Mexico. And so, yeah, we depend on that water, the snow melting and flowing down the river, and then people have, water rights, and that's why we have the chili we have.
That's right. So an acequia, for those of you who don't know, it's kind of like a small canal, and this started back when the Native Americans were here. Here's the river. Okay, how do we get the water to the places where we want it for irrigation? And they would dig these sort of narrow canals. Sometimes they're only a few feet apart. Sometimes they're 10 feet apart, 10 feet wide. And so they could channel the water up to the top of the sides of the valleys, and then they would let the water run down into the fields. But and river rafting, yes. So I think it was about a year or so ago. We went on a rafting trip, my wife and I, down to, which she still hasn't forgiven me for, because
Oh, no.
she's not a thrill seeker. And we went on a rafting trip down the what's called the Taos Box, or that segment in the Taos Gorge, and it was pretty intense, more intense than she was prepared for. I didn't know how rough it was going to be, but it turned out, because the river was so high, we were like doing 3 to 5 degree difficulty rapids, and she still hasn't forgiven me for it. But anyway,
Did you have fun though, at least?
I had a blast. I got thrown out of the boat, so I thought it was awesome.
Like living on the edge.
And they gave us the instruction. They said, if you find yourself going out of the boat, there's a rope that runs all around the edge of the raft. They said, try and grab that. So fortunately, I did just that. I got flipped out of the boat, and I just threw my hand out and grabbed that rope, and dragged me for a little while.
So it's swimming for a minute.
Lost my shoe, but fortunately everybody else in the raft, when I came up finally for air, they grabbed my life jacket and just hauled my poor old body back into the raft. So here I am today to tell this exciting experience. But part of what we're saying is, if you love outdoor stuff, there's just no limit to the things you can do in this area, which is one of the things we love about it, whether it's rafting, hiking, horseback riding, mountain biking, fishing, skiing. I mean, it just goes on and on and on, paragliding, because we've got all these magnificent mountains and mesas.
Ballooning. That's a
Yes.
huge thing here.
Yeah.
Coming
Hot air
soon,
balloons?
October.
So now it's time for cake, because if I'm not mistaken, it's Gracie's birthday.
Oh,
Is it
happy
today?
birthday.
Tomorrow. Okay. So Chung-Yi, would you bust out the cake for us? We don't have any candles, I don't think, but it's right behind you.
Bring it into the middle.
Yeah, let's bring it into the middle, because we're going to make Gracie stick her face in the cake.
Oh,
I did not plan that.
I'm fine with that.
See?
Ooh, so nice.
We don't need a table. Just bring the cake. Just bring the
Okay,
cake.
just-
We'll just show it to
I'm just gonna
everybody.
give it to you.
There
Okay.
you go. Yeah.
Here you
Okay.
go.
Okay.
Open my gift.
Yes, open your gift.
Oh,
Okay,
wow. Happy
so
birthday, Gracie.
so here's this cake.
This is a beautiful cake.
Okay, and it says, if you can read it, I don't know if you can read it. Happy birthday, Gracie, because that's the way we take care of each other on Hey Santa Fe.
I'm gonna hold
So-
my cake.
Yes, you're gonna hold your cake now.
Oh my gosh, the fruit. Oh,
Can we just sing a song, get it over with, so
Yes.
we can dig in?
Yeah. Okay. Are we ready?
yes.
Are we ready?
Yes.
Carlos.
Happy birthday
Day to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Gracie. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you guys. Do you
So-
really want me to stick my face in
No,
that?
you don't have to stick
I'll
your face.
just eat a
Just
strawberry.
eat a
Yeah,
strawberry
eat a
and we'll cut it up later. Okay. You want to come take the cake so she doesn't have to sit here holding it?
Picking at it.
Thank you.
Okay, now you have to stop eating it, Gracie. Jeez.
We're sharing, I guess.
So there's some history to this because when we were shooting Head Santa Fe, one of the days we were on location, it was my birthday, and so my wonderful wife showed up with a birthday cake and
was
made
really
everybody
awesome.
sing happy birthday to me. And I'm thinking, we got shooting to do. We got to get moving here. It's like this is lovely, but like no, go away. So
There's always time for cake.
there's always time
Yeah.
for cake. So
That was a
there was
delicious
time for
cake, too.
Oh, so would you bring me over those three printouts there? Yes.
We have a massive list of things happening.
We have a massive list of things, and for the next few minutes, we're going to. Here you go, Carlos. Okay, that's for you. That's for you. This is for me. So just this morning, I went online and said, I wonder, we've been telling you about all the events that are going on in here in the summer. Well, all the events is kind of an understatement because we went online and said, let's just see for the heck of it how many events are starting this week in Santa Fe. And so we went online and we printed it out, and it came out at 23 pages. So what we're going to do now is we're going to can I have my glasses? We're going to as quickly as possible. We're going to see how, like in 5 minutes, how many events we could possibly get through. So you're going to start
Speed dating with
1,
events.
2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay. And we'll see how far we can go.
Three per page.
There are
No,
three.
you-
There's some there times they're 4 per page. So
So I'll
just
take the first page.
okay, great. You take the first page.
So Santa
can do
Fe
that.
Farmers Market on Saturdays through September 28th. Santa Fe Art Week through July 21st, so that ends tomorrow. July 20th through March 31st,
2022.
2022. Yeah, beginner painting.
Oh, cool. Okay, so private portrait painting for 4 hours, July 20th through May 27th of 2023.
Somebody's got
Yeah.
plans.
Hike the South Pasture Loop Trail, July through end of August. Native American ruins in Pecos through December.
Yeah, if you come here, you should definitely. It's maybe 45 minutes outside of Santa Fe max. You should definitely check out the ruins at Pecos because they're magnificent. Sorry, go ahead.
Very historical. Okay, so the Santa Fe Artist Market is happening through December.
Okay, July 20th to the 31st, one-woman show with Elsa Sroka. Through October 13th, the Santa Fe Society of Arts Fine Art Show. July 20th, also through the October 13th, Santa Fe Society of Artists Outdoor Fine Art Show. And Santa Fe Summer Series Welcome Week, that's this weekend.
Cool.
Garden tour through October 26th. Walking tours of historic downtown Santa Fe through October. Sand Play Saturday through
That's what I wanna
August 10th, and then through
It's for
November
children.
30th, Santa Fe Art and History Bike Tour in the morning.
Okay, Family Day on the Wells Petroglyph Preserve. That's just today. New Mexico
And
favorites.
for those of you who don't know, petroglyphs are art in the rocks that the Native Americans did. That's what a petroglyph is.
Yeah, they're really cool. New Mexico favorites gone gourmet. That's today. Animal encounters. Woo! Through September 2nd.
This weekend, the Atelier Daniel and Robin Hilliard Jewelry Trunk Show.
That sounds
Okay. Today, the Botanical Art Vivid Vegetables. This weekend, the 12th annual Viva Mexico Fiesta.
I'll be there at 2.
So
Today?
he's going to be
With my
playing
band.
there this afternoon.
Yeah.
Just saying. From today to August 25th, a gathering of voices, folk art from the Judith Espinar and Tom Dillenberg collection.
Through November 30th, digital artifacts. Through September 1st, Bel Canto, contemporary artist explore opera. Through September 15th, Nina Elder, What Endures. Beyond traditions, fibrous materials in sculpture and hand-formed paper through December 31st.
Okay, landscapes by John Hogan through July 31st. Ben Munoz, selections from the Endless Endeavor, just this weekend. I don't know how to say this. Rothermel Janus, opening the 5th through the 26th of this month. Kevin Tolman, Sense of Place, new paintings through August 4th.
This weekend, the Navajo Weaving Show and Sale through from from today through June 7th, 2022. This is another multi-year commitment here. Multiple Visions, A Common Bond. Through September 30th, the Great New Mexican Modernist Artists, past and present. And through September 29th, the Northern New Mexico Fine Arts and Crafts Guild Juried Show.
Ooh, Pinsgore? I don't know. Jeep Tours through December 31st through September 20th in Bloom. La Fonda Art Show and History Tours through December 31st. And then through, today, Endings and Beginnings.
It's an art show. Rare Earth Planetary Beauty through September 29th. Chorizo Wiener Dog Races, that sounds fun, that's today. Santa Fe Art and History Bike Tour in the afternoon through November 30th. An astrology workshop is happening today.
At Meow Wolf.
At Meow Wolf.
Mercury's in retrograde, so.
Interesting.
From today through September 5th, 50 states, 200 artists in caustic exhibition. From today to December 22nd, Discover the Art of Wax. Today, Art Santa Fe. And today, The Half Broke Horses. I guess, they must be a music group at Cowgirl.
Summer Saturdays at COE through August 31st. And Thomas Carroll Broker Fine Show, I think we mentioned that, through December 31st. Georgia O'Keeffe Landscape Tour at Ghost Ranch through October 31st. And that's just a beautiful place to see itself.
Yeah, we got to
filmed
shoot
there
there.
a couple of times. So.
It's beautiful. Okay, so public tours happening through December 31st. Performance in the galleries with Suzanne Bacanagra and David Lang today. Les Tres Amis.
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 Les Tres Amis.
Les Tres
I think that's
Amis.
French. Yeah.
Okay, don't know what language I'm trying to speak. It's today. The Aya Band is playing today at 3.
Mineshaft.
Okay. Today, Artist Studio Tour, David Pearson. Today, Bach and Vivaldi at the New Mexico Museum of Art. Today, the Curry Springer Duo at Tesuque Casino. And today, Santa Fe Desert Corral 2019 Summer Festival opening night dinner at La Posada.
Tonight at Venesi, Doug Montgomery, and at the Rail Yard, Jumbo's Cafe's 10th anniversary party. Such good food. And my good friend Al Jr. is going to be at Swan Park tonight as part of the Santa Fe Bandstand. Flamenco dinner show at El Farol tonight.
Okay.
Ole.
Entra Flamenco summer season at the El Flamenco restaurant is happening today. Busy y Los Big Deals, the 2nd Street Brewery, happening today. Another thing happening today, Natu Camera at the Rail Yard Plaza. I'm not sure what that is. And then through June 27, 2020, Ronald Roybal at the Hotel Santa Fe.
So
where we are right now.
So we're just about out of time.
There's more.
but there's more. So this is just to sort of give you an idea. There's sort of almost anything you could possibly want to do, and obviously more things that you could possibly do in a single day. But that's the way it is here in Santa Fe, certainly in the summertime, and not uncommon for it to be that way almost year round. Anyway, I really want to thank you guys for coming.
Thank you,
I want to say, just from my heart, Winona, Gracie, Carlos, they were just great to work with. It was not an easy shoot because, as they said, we were all jammed in the vehicle, running all over New Mexico, climbing up hills, climbing into arroyos, climbing across rivers, and I just want to personally thank these guys for all their hard work and mostly for their spirit, because that was the spirit we were really hoping to capture in these videos, and I hope it's working for you, and I hope you'll watch the rest of them and share them with your friends. So thanks for coming, guys,
Yes, thank
and you
you.
guys take care.
Thanks for watching.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.